Welcome to WP-Tonic, episode 59. And this is a special show because Jonathan, he's probably tired and heck, just got back from WordCamp Vegas. So we're going to talk all about WordCamp Vegas. I got really good emails and texts back from him. I wish I was there supposed together, but unfortunately I had to do all this work back here in the home base. Jonathan, take it away. What'd you learn?
Oh, it was just a fun weekend, Bill. I had to leave slightly early because I had the drive. I'm not going to do that again. I'll fly. I must be able to find a cheaper ticket. It was just that when I looked for a ticket, they wanted like $300, and
we live in Reno, of course,
and people said to me I should be able to get a flight for $79 or something. But let's get back to it. Las Vegas, WordCamp Las Vegas 2015. It was everything WordPress. It was just fantastic, Bill. Some really, really smart WordPress people, and so open, so generous with the time. And I really had a fun time, Bill. Let's go through some of the presentations I saw.
Okay, real quick, just for those, we got some good listeners. A lot of listeners popped up right now. In 10 minutes, we're going to open it up for questions. And what I was really impressed about coming back is you and I work in WordPress. You're a different level. We're doing different things in WordPress. But you're really impressed. I mean, it's not a sales pitch down there. You're really talking to the big boys.
Yeah.
You're connected to the very top. I mean, Matt wasn't there, was he?
No, but what I would say, and I'm not trying to be offensive here, it's a different caliber of people than in Reno. There's a lot of young people doing stuff, doing things.
So tell us what they were doing. What were the hot topics that were?
Well, let's go through it. I think the opening presentation, always difficult to do the keynote, but they had Ben Fox do it, and he's based in Toronto, and him and his partner, I forgot the name of the company, but they're doing a product that's around offering video and a more interesting help product, which they built in WordPress. Help for companies to explain complicated setup processes. And Ben did a fantastic keynote. It was obviously a keynote has to be kind of entertaining, but it's got to have a core message, and it's kind of sets the tone of the whole weekend. And he did a fantastic job, Bill.
So what was his message?
It was a personal message, actually. It was about his grandfather, how his grandfather adapted to circumstances. Ben's family is Jewish, and his father was in Poland at the beginning of the Second World War, but he was hidden by a non-family member. The rest of a lot of the family got rounded up and exterminated by the Nazis. But a stranger whom his father had done a favour for decided to hide Ben's grandfather as a girl, actually, and then he grew up, and he kind of joined the resistance, and in the end was forced to join the Red Army 2 months before the victory against Nazism. And then he managed to escape the Red Army and get across to Western Europe, and then he managed to get to America.
Was he in Poland by any chance?
Pardon?
Was he in Poland?
Yes.
Yeah, that happened. A lot of them converted the underground. Russians let the Polish fight, and then they converted them over into the army.
Yeah, and there was other aspects, and you'll be able to see it on WordPress TV probably in the next couple of days, hopefully. So that was a great keynote, and then there was quite a controversial, semi-controversial presentation afterwards by Alex Kin, and basically Alex Kin builds websites utilizing. Doesn't really know any CSS or HTML, and he just builds websites for people rapidly using a program called Visual Composer. It's one of the most leading ones. I've used it. I haven't utilized the latest, and obviously they're always upgrading, but I wouldn't say it's my most popular of those. But
is that a bunch of short codes?
No, I don't think I can't pass comment really. I don't really want to pass comment because it was over a year ago that I used it, so my comments would be totally out of date. And he uses that, and he doesn't know any CSS or HTML, and he says he doesn't need to. And he showed us some of the website he does for clients, and that's that really. And I'm in the kind of middle ground. I think it's fine. I think for rapid development, I think WordPress has to be realistic. You got things like Weebly, Wix, other ones. We looked at a number of them on WP-Tonic, didn't we, Bill? And
right. So what were they looking at there, though, at the WordCamp?
He was looking at how he could develop really nice websites without knowing any code.
And he said that was controversial?
Well,
you got to get in the PHP sometimes, or have somebody for you, because things break. I use Dynamic with Genesis and make child themes. I know a little bit of code, but not much. I need experts to come in once in a while and look at the stuff.
Yeah, I think it really depends what you're doing. I think you can build some really nice stuff now, Bill.
Mm-hmm. It's all about content. It's about what you put in that site, how it connects, and how it works, how you set it up, how you manage it, how you back it up. And you need to know those things. And if you're just a business guy, of course, you need to protect the domain and have security.
I think the other great thing, you were advised, you listened, and I think in a way it was really good advice for you, is you're doing it in the Genesis framework.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Where Alex is just taking themes from Theme Forest, and he's using the Visual Composer plugin, and some of them are great, but that's what most people do, Bill. And they it's not about Visual Composer, but there can be some speed consequences of all this.
And that's a study in itself, right? Hey, so Drive On, what else was? You're out there 2 days. You're excited. You said great stuff. I was getting. So what was the number one presentation you really liked?
Oh, I'm looking at it.
WordCamp Vegas. On the WordCamp Vegas.
Just give me. I'm looking through them.
You were talking. You're so excited. Listening to you on your tweets and stuff like that. Not your tweets, but your emails and texts.
I'm just looking through. It's really difficult.
Backup Buddy. It's nice.
I'm just trying to find. I thought Actions and Filters by Robert Gillimer was quite interesting, because that's at the core of the Genesis.
I would like to have heard that one.
And explaining actions and filters can be a little bit complex. I thought Kimberly Shiveler, How to Build Online Course Using WordPress. She's developed.
That sounds good.
She developed a number of online courses, and she was going through what the choices of plugins and the setup.
You remember which one she liked best?
No, but the notes will be available.
We've done. Now that's going to be up on WordPress.com.
It should be on the next couple of days on the WordCamp Vegas 2015 website.
On their website, the links, that makes sense.
Yeah.
WordPress is really good about getting that stuff up. That's a place to go. And I dropped in that link.
There was, I've forgotten his name, but he's the CEO of a WordPress plugin called Gift. And Gift has become the leading plugin if you're a non-profit and you want to take subscriptions, and you don't want to use PayPal, you want other options, And it's always been, the easiest way so far has always been just to utilize PayPal and their buttons. But, he offers a plugin. Him and his team offer a really easy to use plugin that gives a lot more options, and it's called Gift.
Okay.
And I think they were one of the sponsors. Yeah, not sure actually.
So how many people were actually there? I know it was sold out.
There must have been over 200 people.
Yeah, and that's they sell those out too early. That were sold out in a day, right?
I'm not sure about the Las Vegas. I know they sold out pretty quick for LA, but I think they got over 400 people going to that.
Yeah, folks, LA is next week, and I actually may have an extra ticket for LA. Might give that to Steve Lee because we got our sponsorship one, right?
Yeah.
And I may have an extra ticket. So how do I verify? I know I bought an extra ticket. I paid for one. I got it the same day. Thank you, Jonathan, for sending me the link because it sold out like by 2
in the afternoon. Well, you need to contact them and, ask them, can you give it to somebody else?
I'll contact them. That's a good idea.
You need to contact them, I think, beforehand, because otherwise they won't allow you to do that.
Right, WordPress LA.
Yeah. Yeah. So get back onto
with the top going on to what else happened down there. It was really impressed you.
Well, I'm looking for.
Did you go to the dinner on Friday?
Yes, I did. Yep, that was great. I think if you build it right, they will come and create truly valuable WordPress products and services. That was by Devin Walker. That was a good one. I really liked that. They also tips and tools for building your community WordPress with Tamitha Floyd, Andrew DeMiro, and Millie Himmer. That was at 12 o'clock before lunch.
What was that about?
Basically, it was about. It was really interesting actually because it was about they all sell online products.
You have to make money.
To make money, and what WordPress plugin services, and basically how they manage to get visitors to the website to become paying visitors. They went all through the nitty gritty of what is required and what plugins they use and what services. There was a lot of information in that session. It went from 12 to 12:40, so there was a lot of information there.
And these are all planned out, rehearsed, so you're getting really good content.
Yeah, they did a really good job. It was kind of in Las Vegas. You would have loved it, Bill, because seemingly in Las Vegas, the word meetup group there is really dominated by Genesis developers.
Yep.
So that they're all hardcore Genesis Studio Press fanboys down there. There's a whole little group of them.
Yep, and that facility is nice too, isn't it?
It's really fantastic. The Innovation Center, kind of a state-sponsored, but also paid for by a high-end IT company that I forgot its name, but they were telling me that does all the backbone of the internet, and it's a really snazzy center where they've got a lot of startup businesses. On the end, one that she impressed me actually. I've got a funny story here that you're gonna love. After you introduced me to Blab,
yeah, I love
Blab. When you introduced me to Blab, I thought I would have a couple of sessions on other people's. And this lady started one, and she said she was in San Francisco airport waiting to go back home, and she was a business consultant for startups. And she said she's just looking for people to join her and ask her some questions. So I thought, why not? So I joined in and I asked her a couple of questions, and then she had to go. She had to run off and get her flight. And guess who was one of the presenters on Saturday, Bill? It was the same lady.
That's really good. Who was it? Do you remember who it was?
Her name's Heather Wild.
Heather Wild. I've heard that name, Heather Wild.
And she's based in Las Vegas. And she did a presentation on plugins that can help your business sink or swim. And actually, it was a list of plugins that she's utilized for client websites she runs a company that advises startups and does mentorship and that. She trained to be a NASA astronaut, and she worked for NASA for a few years.
You say it's Heather, W-I-L-D?
It's Heather, W-I-L-D-E.
Because folks, put in Heather Wild in your browser and see what comes up.
Yeah, there's another lady. I wasn't going to mention that.
W-I-L-D-E. Let's see if that's a little bit better.
There's another lady that's in a different industry than what Heather's in. It must cause Heather.
Vegas.
Yeah, it must cause Heather a little bit of embarrassment. But Heather did a really great job of going through these plugins, and a couple of them I hadn't heard of actually. And then I'm looking for the guy that did the gift presentation, but he wasn't talking about gift itself. He was talking, I cannot see it. Have to be calls you with age.
Sounds like we need to get Heather Wild in one of our shows on WP-Tonic.
Yeah, we're linked in on LinkedIn, and she gave me her business card, and she's worked for she worked for Evernote. She was number 8 employee for Evernote, and she was with them for a number of years when they were in a high growth. Hopefully, she had some stock options, being number 8 employee. But she has worked for some high growth startups, and she was a really bright, interesting lady.
Yep, I think I found her online. I finally found her. You got to get through the Heathers though.
Another one on Sunday. There was a couple on Sunday. There was developing WordPress sites using the Genesis framework by Ben Wesler. That was really interesting. He was going through his experiences of learning Genesis. Obviously, you're doing it you're using the dynamic framework, which has helped you enormously, Bill. One of the problems for somebody like myself that's used to the kind of normal way of doing it, in a way, that's the wrong wording, but is that the Genesis Genesis uses filters and hooks, and you got to know your hooks and filters that they use. They use over about 50 of them, and you got to know about 10 or 12 of those by heart. And there are a couple. There's one particular plugin that shows you where all the hookable areas are in a visual way. So it gives you a better idea of how that particular theme using the Genesis framework. And he gave some other tools and resources that he utilizes. Another one that was really interesting was after WordPress Scaling and Security. That was by Chris Webb and Michelle Creeman, or Michael Creeman. I apologize, Michael. Basically, they run a WordPress agency, but what they specialize is in websites that get a lot of traffic, like get 30,000 hits per day plus. And they were talking about their experiences of dealing with corporate clients or clients. They had one client who thought they were only going to get initially 10,000 hits per day, and it got broadcast on all the major TV networks and on some of the big news websites. And they got over, I think they said it got over 300,000 hits. And it got to the stage where the server, you couldn't even, as the administrator, you couldn't log into the server because the whole server had been overwhelmed. And they had to, for the client, they had to contact the internet service provider who was offering the hosting, and had to find somebody in the organization over the weekend that would talk to them, and that could get one of their engineers to work with them and to basically log off everybody else. And they managed to get in, and they went through the process of what software and what they did to the server to increase its capacity to take such a high traffic per day, Bill.
Right. Hey, Jonathan, we need to wrap this up. We're hitting our time links for episode 59. I want to thank those who came in and blab and watched. We had quite a few folks, 11 people come up. Some stayed on. And you know what I think we need to do now, though?
Yeah, open up.
Have a regular time for the blab. Get it out to our folks because they'll come on and answer questions. By the way, I'll tell you offline, but we had somebody huge watching our show. She just left. She's huge. Watching our entire show. When we put up Vegas Wordcamp, we got some big time players in this social media online industry watching. That's just people are cognizant.
But they left pretty quick, didn't they?
No, they did. No, Jonathan, they did not. Somebody watched it all the way through. I'm watching this stuff. I don't want to tell you the name because she didn't come on. I opened it up for questions, but I'm impressed. So here's what we need to do with this show. We're going to take this show onto steroids. We've got, I got to say, Jonathan, you and I, you've got some really good systems. I've got good systems, but we need to become really good at marketing and consistency. So Monday night, we're doing the new real estate show that it's got a new name, and that is at 6:30. And then we got to go back, but let's set this show for 7:30 Pacific time, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. That's 10:30 Eastern. So at that time next Monday, when we'll do a follow-up from WordCamp LA, and we'll tell folks to come on. Maybe we'll get a few folks at WordCamp LA who want to come on and come on and blab with us, and we'll put it up on WP-Tonic. How's that?
It sounds great, Bill. Also remember, folks, that me and Bill are doing WP-Tonic Live. We're going to be using Google Hangout because we have a larger panel.
And when's our next live event?
That's this Thursday, Bill.
Oh, Thursday. Okay. And I got to get up right away. We've got a lot to get up.
So we need to get so that's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks. You can go to the WP website, and there will be a live feed on
WP-Tonic.com.
On the website. You go to WP Tonic /live. There'll be a live feed on there, and you can Twitter any questions to us. We've got a great panel, but our special guest is going to be Jake of 10 Up, the CEO of 10 Up, one of the leading high-end WordPress development shops in the US, has over 100 people work for him, and has become one of the most dominant forces in high-end WordPress development. And
so let's sign off for the show, Jonathan. I they got it. So Thursday night, this Thursday, which is whatever day it is, day's the 21st, at 6 o'clock Pacific?
6 p.m. We're doing it slightly later. And
Jonathan does a lot of work getting these folks together. They're the top folks across the country and the world in WordPress. And
Jake,
come on in.
There's not really much about WordPress that Jake doesn't know, Bill, and he's a great talker as well, and he's built up a fantastic business.
Okay.
So he is Mr. WordPress. There's not much he doesn't know, Bill.
And you can find Jonathan at WP-Tonic.com, and you can find me at podcastershome.com. Thanks, Jonathan.